F-250 pickup truck, which was driven to Skyline Elementary School on the morning of June 4th by Terri Horman. We are interested in speaking with any person who may have seen the truck at the Skyline Elementary School that morning in or near the locations depicted in the photographs just behind me and to my left between the approximate hours of 8:15 and 8:30 that morning. I'm sorry, 8:15 and 8:45 that morning. Further, we are seeking whether any such witnesses can identify any person or persons associated with the truck during those same approximate times. By associated, we mean in or in immediate proximity to that truck. Regarding the locations, we have photographs of Kane Horman's truck viewed from different angles, and they're just behind me and over my shoulder to the left. I'm sorry, just behind me and over my shoulder to my right, parked in two different locations in front of the Skyline School. If anyone saw that truck in or near those areas on the morning of June 4th, between approximately 8:15 and 8:45, please contact us. Further, we are seeking additional information about the same truck at another possible location shown in the photographs just to my left that same morning, June 4th. One of the photographs is the Fred Meyer, located at 22075 Northwest Embry Drive in Hillsboro, Oregon, just off Cornelius Pass Road. At approximately 9 a.m., that vehicle may have been seen by a witness or witnesses, and we'd like to contact that person or have them contact us. Further, the Fred Meyer is located at 15995 Southwest Walker Road in Beaverton, Oregon, at approximately 10 a.m. Additionally, on or near Skyline Road between approximately Springville Road and Newberry Road, on or around Germantown Road or Old Germantown Road, at approximately 10:15 to 10:30 a.m. on June 4th. Now, at this point, I want to introduce Detective Bobby O'Donnell from the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office with an additional request for the public's investigative assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Good morning. We're seeking to identify the identity of a witness who parked their vehicle between approximately 8:15 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. on June 4th, specifically in the south side of the parking lot, immediately off Northwest Skyline Boulevard, as indicated in the photograph. If you park your vehicle in this area, indicated the time and the date, please contact Multnomah County Sheriff's Office tip line at 503-261-2847. We ask that you leave with your tip the year, make, color, model, and license plate number of the vehicle that you drove that day and that you parked in that parking lot on June 4th, 2010, between 8:15 and 8:30 a.m. In closing, I want to thank the public in advance for their assistance in this investigative request. Captain Gates.
Does anybody have any clarifying questions for Detective O'Donnell or Mr. Underhill?
So you're looking for people to identify their own cars they were driving that day if they parked in the school lot?
Yes, their own vehicle. Sorry. Their own vehicle that they parked on the day of the school when they came for the science fair. We want them to call the tip line at 503-261-2847. Make, model, color, and license plate number of their vehicle, and we'll get back to them.
Do you have a specific vehicle in mind that you're looking for?
That's all the information I can release at this time.
So were there other people parked in that same sort of side road area ramp where the white truck is in the, in the photos? Were there other people parked around the truck?
We're looking for that information. Individuals. Very good. We're looking to obtain that information. That's exactly why we're asking for public assistance in order for witnesses to come forward with information about their parking location, to include the areas that Detective O'Donnell and I have mentioned.
What leads you to believe that the vehicles were in the Fred Meyer lots on the date and time?
I'm not going to add specific details to answer that question, I'm sorry, at this point.
What's the significance of the photos in the middle?
There are, as I mentioned, there are 2 different locations. As you'll see, this is one location in front of Skyline School, just across the street from where we are, and the vehicle depicted from 2 different views. This is another location in front of Skyline School, just further up that access road, if you will. From a perspective standpoint, see this road here? That's this road here.
So for these photos, are you asking if people saw that particular truck in those areas?
Exactly.
Do you believe that that truck was parked there at some point on June 4th?
I don't want to get specific with respect to answering that question.
Captain Gates, could you speak to this flyer that's come out a little bit and what the reasons are that you have Dede Spicer on there at this point and the second page with the questions?
That is a specific tool that the investigative team is using that was designed for a specific audience, and that's really all I can tell you at this point.
Well, can you just explain it a little bit? Why are you looking for this? What's the information on here and what are you looking for?
No, but I can't. What I can do is I can explain, kind of the standoff nature with regard to answering these questions. What we really need is we need independent witness information that is subject to no suggestion. So in other words, we want somebody to come forward and tell us what they actually saw as opposed to what they think they saw based on suggestion because they saw it in the media or the popular press or by word of mouth. So independent witnesses with independent recollections.
But it appears that these are suggestions.
And like I said before, we're going to put out pieces of information in order to help people remember. This has been a while ago to help people remember. And as we develop new leads in the case, it takes us to different locations. And based on those locations, we put out specific information. But still, it's important to reiterate that if we have information that we get from people that, we get it because they are subject to suggestion, it makes it very difficult for our case as opposed to, we give just enough information to help jog people's memories and then they're able to give us independent recollection. Okay, that is very beneficial to our case.
You're asking people to talk about if they saw the white truck at these Fred Meyer stores. Do you believe that Terri Horman was driving the truck, and if they spotted her inside the store or around the store, is that something you want to know?
Right, that's not a detail we can release at this point.
Why wasn't this information about the Fred Meyers released sooner? Because it's been, over 2 months.
Right.
Memories might be.
Yeah, no, I understand that. We totally understand that. But as I'm sure you're aware, the sheer magnitude of the information that we have to process in this case is incredible. And so, as we proceed, it's a very productive investigation for sure, but as we proceed, we come back to rechecking and refocusing, and if certain areas of the investigation where we deem it necessary that now that it's appropriate for this information to go out before it wasn't, that's why we're doing it now.
You talk about the difficulty in getting independent witnesses at this point, given the amount of time that's passed and the amount of exposure on this case. How do you find any independent witnesses at this point?
Well, I remember exactly what I was doing the whole day on Friday the 4th. I mean, and I think that with the amount of public exposure to this case, I believe that many other people probably remember what they were doing on Friday the 4th as well.
How can they not be influenced by the exposure of the story if you're looking for someone who hasn't gotten a suggestion?
That would be benefits and challenges of media exposure.
Can you comment on reports that there was another person seen with Terri Horman?
Won't comment on that.
What about the day
Okay, two more questions, please, and then I'll talk off camera.
What about surveillance footage of Terri Horman at any one of these Fred Meyer locations? Do you have surveillance footage of Terri Horman?
We are examining a measured ton of evidence and I'm not able to comment on what that evidence is or to exact nature.
Do you think you're any closer to solving this case?
Well, you know, I stated this before, we can't put a timeline on this case. It'll take as long as it takes. What I can tell you is that, you know, our process is still very dedicated. We have our major crimes team still working on this full-time, 7 days a week. And we are proceeding forward, and I will tell you that the investigation is most certainly productive. It's just one of those cases that just isn't going to fall into our lap.
Mr. Underhill, can you clarify the third element, the skyline to Springville, Springville to Newberry? Could you clarify that information and exactly?
I'll do that to you again. And I'll answer one additional question. In retrospect, I said that I had no comment, but I will go ahead and answer a question that came from over here. So I'll answer your question first. We're looking for witnesses who observed the white truck that we've been talking about, the F-250 pickup truck, on or near Springville Road, Skyline Road, between Springville and Newberry, to include, and in between those two roads is Germantown and Old Germantown. So we're also interested in those two roads as well. So Springville, Skyline, Germantown, Old Germantown, Newberry.
During what hour?
There was another between the hours of 10:15 approximately and 10:30 a.m. the morning of June 4th. There was a question earlier that I chose not to answer, but I think it is appropriate to revisit. There's a legitimate question about why do we have these pictures in these two locations. A witness or witnesses have come forward and provided us with information about a person or persons associated with that pickup truck at approximately those locations. We're looking for additional witnesses.
A man,
Thank you.
a woman, age, anything
No
like
further
that?
comment upon
But
that
someone
point.
other than
But thank you.
Horman.
No further comment on that point. Jason?
Can you tell us if these
Sorry.
were staged photos or if they were taken the day of June 4th?
No further comment. Thank you.
And